right. Good afternoon, everyone. Is there an echo? Oh, it's new mics. Okay, it's very loud. It's good. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:33, calling the meeting to order. Mauricio?
Thank you. Commissioner Joseph,
Present.
Commissioner Lama,
Here.
Vice Mayor Vizcarra. Mayor Svechin.
Here.
For the record, Commissioner Syverson is unable to attend today, so we have a quorum. We can
Okay, do we want to make changes then to the agenda
proceed.
right
Yes,
now?
we are making a few changes to the agenda. Item 3A is being deferred.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is there an echo? What is that?
That was you. There's a delay. Okay, excuse me. So 3A is being deferred, as well as items 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, and 4E, and 4F.
Okay. All right. Public comments?
Yes. So just to remind the commission and the members of the public and the audience that we now have public comments during workshops, whereas we normally didn't have it before. However, it is a little different from the public comment section that we have normally during the 6:30 meeting. The comments during the workshop are limited only to those items that are listed on the agenda today. And we are still following the same rules of procedures where each speaker is limited to 3 minutes per item. Please make sure that you fill out your public speaker cards, which are located in the back table, if anyone desires to talk on any item that's listed on the agenda. With that, we can,
For clarification, it's 3 minutes total, not per item.
3 minutes total, excuse me, yes.
Yes,
3
okay.
minutes total.
All right, let's move on to 3B, please.
Okay, so 3B is a special presentation for promotional ceremony for police officers. Okay, so we're also deferring 3B.
For 6:30.
Oh, moving to the end, excuse me.
To the end?
To the end of the meeting, yes.
Okay, why don't you go with the next item then?
Okay, so we're going to also skip 3C for now, and we're going to go with 3D, which is a presentation on the Art Contest Award winners.
All right, Commissioner Joseph?
Okay, so this year, where we usually had the students from Edel Cup K through 8 would paint on the RK wall across from the school, that was not available this year. And the students did their own paintings, which were displayed, and there were awards given by Mayor Edelcup, as he regularly does each year, last month. And I had asked, and the commission agreed to have the paintings exhibited in our City Hall lobby for a 1 month period for the month of July. And I would like to recognize Genteri Buddha, Amelia Soretsev, Ariana, this is a tough one. I feel like President Trump. Yulim Zieva and Yaroslav Voidovich. Do they happen to be here today? Everyone? Four students? Are there 4 students here?
One student.
One student.
Only one student out of the
All
4?
right. And you are? What's your name?
Yarrow.
Yaroslav? I
Okay.
don't have Yaroslav. I only have...
Well, all right. So
All right,
I guess
Yaroslav, we're going to give you this, but we're going to have to give you a new one because this has your name misspelled. But, why don't you come up and we'll take a picture with you?
yes. Thank you for showing up. Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you, Commissioner Joseph, for recognizing students. Okay, next item.
Next item, we are now going to enter into discussion items. We're going to skip down. Yes, we're going to move that to the end. So 4G is a discussion item regarding the cone of silence.
All right, and this item is discussion by Commissioner Joseph. Please go ahead.
Let me just get to it. Let's see. Which one is this?
The cone of silence, that's your item.
Oh, cone of silence, okay. Yes, so it's come to my attention that the city departments that are doing purchases, I believe that they're not, no one can be up on every item regarding purchasing, and the city has a wide variety of items that we purchase. And I believe that having the closed bidding and all, and for commissioners or anyone else in city administration that knows about certain items should be able to see what the bidding is, what the numbers are prior to the bid going out and as the bids come in. Also, the idea that we're telling vendors how much we want to put towards a project and then asking them to come back with numbers is totally absurd. I don't think that works in any industry like that. And I've been hearing that the city is doing this on so many items and projects, and we're just losing hundreds of thousands of dollars according to that process. And I would like to see it end, and part of that is doing away with the code of silence to make it a more open process.
Okay, so your suggestion is that the commission and anyone else that feels that they have expertise in a particular field should be conversing
Contribute.
directly
Yes.
with the
With
procurement
the-
department
Correct.
as they
Yes.
please.
Yes.
So
Correct.
anyone would start contacting Genesis and
No.
her team if they feel like they have an
Anyone?
expertise.
What do you mean anyone?
You said the commission and
in
anyone.
authority, in city authority.
How are you defining city authority?
Well, commissioners, city manager, assistant city manager, if there happens to be another department such as Public Works that might be aware of the item that's being purchased, and if they may have some input, I think that's a good procedure and much better than what we're doing now.
Okay, so if I can get clarification, please, from the city attorney, how this process is supposed to work and the reason for it?
I mean, you as elected officials can always inquire regarding procurements that are coming before you through the manager, and if the manager sees fit, through staff. The cone of silence really is directed for communications between you and vendors. Cones of silence have been born of necessity because of entanglements, interference, influence, and things of that sort, which is why all except, well, I think everybody in Miami-Dade County follows the cone of silence because we don't have our own cone of silence. We follow Miami-Dade County's. Back in 1998, you had passed your own code of ethics, and in 2002, you had opted out of the county's cone of silence. But in 2022, you were informed, I don't recall how, but that we were the only jurisdiction in Miami-Dade County that did not follow the cone of silence. So the City Commission repealed the opt-out, and you opt back in to the cone of silence in 2022.
That turned out to have been an error.
Well, again, this is and that's up for you to decide, but again, the cones of silence are born of necessity. It creates a very convoluted process if you are able to speak to vendors because there's an inequality of exposure and information, which leads to bid protests. It leads to interference where you have procurement, possibly Public Works or another department, negotiating with a vendor, and then you as elected officials step in.
I never said negotiate with the vendor.
But that's what the cone of silence is.
Well, I understand.
There's no
But-
cone of silence
so-
if you want to get information regarding a particular procurement that is available through the city manager and staff.
So maybe
but
it would
the-
be, hold on a second, Commissioner Joseph, if we can, so that we're all talking about the same thing, get the actual definition of what cone of silence means so that we are discussing the same thing, because there might be a misunderstanding as to what it is Commissioner Joseph is looking to do.
No,
You're looking to provide what you consider your expertise to the procurement department, correct? Not directly to the vendor.
And
not only me.
Well,
And
anyone,
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know everything about everything. I know about certain things, and I know how to investigate where maybe, yeah, we have so many examples. We have examples of when we were getting boat lifts and, you know, the person in procurement.
No. What I mean for clarification, you're not looking to speak directly to vendors. You're asking to,
No,
okay.
absolutely
All
not.
right.
That's what
so
the cone of silence
that's,
is,
That's,
right.
I think, why we need
But
that definition.
apart from that, what you're talking about is you as a legislative person elected cannot negotiate and or interfere. No, but you're what you're suggesting is interacting through the process. So your procurement process is a closed process for a reason, because, and that's best practices throughout all governmental public procurement. The elected officials can't get involved in the procurement process because ultimately you're the final decision makers. So to the
I
extent
just
that you
want
have,
to be able to verify that the person in procurement is doing the best for the city
that's the city
and the best
manager's
for the
job.
residents.
It's the
Well,
city manager's job.
okay. Well, there have been instances where someone is dropping the ball then, which,
And,
you know,
and just a clarification, again, you all can do what you want, but the cone of silence aspect is a county directive through the ethics code 2-11.1, subsection T, I believe, which, and it's very long and it's convoluted, but it's really to foreclose communications for vendors that are bidding or once a procurement is put out.
but the
When
cone of
vendors-
silence
Commissioner
doesn't
Joseph, can you
stop
let the-
vendors
can you let the
from
attorney
speaking
finish,
amongst
please?
themselves
Commissioner
who are
Joseph.
bidding on a project. Right?
Commissioner Joseph,
Well,
could we
no,
do
they-
one at
they're-
a time, please?
They can switch off and say, "Oh, I'll take this one this time, and you take it next time."
That's called collusion, and they have to swear to if somebody does that, that's extremely against the law.
Okay,
There's bid rigging, there's all kinds of
Yes,
things, and that's
okay.
why,
right. So let's be naive and say that that never happens.
well, we're not, to our knowledge, again, if somebody is out there committing a crime, we don't necessarily know about that, and there's no way for us to
Okay.
foreclose that. They have to sign affidavits, a slew of affidavits regarding anti-collusion and all these types of things. That's public procurement as it stands. I mean, if somebody's going to commit fraud on you, they're going to commit fraud on you, unfortunately. But the cone of silence itself deals with prevention of vendors courting you to try to get an advantage in the bidding process where they're going to be selected versus another vendor. And that's what that pretty much forecloses. So it closes the system out of interference and influence. To the extent that you want more information about procurements that may be going out, once the city manager through staff can give you all the information that you can.
Let me just clarify for the public and for myself, so I understand that I understand it correctly. So, for instance, way back when we were bidding out the Tony Roma site to various vendors and restaurateurs, I had throughout that process, because it was a lengthy process, had residents who were interested potentially in opening up a restaurant or had restaurants say to me things like, well, why didn't you let me know? You know I'm interested, and can you tell me more about what it is you all are looking for? My response was, I'm not part of this process. You need to deal directly with the city manager. I cannot guide you, and I'm not going to meet with you to discuss that. Is that what we're talking about as far as a cone of silence?
No.
Part of it.
So that deals with
That's
when you're
still
issuing
unethical.
when you're issuing your procurement,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's on RFP, RFQ, whichever else. Every governmental entity has avenues to put that out. So we use Demand Star. There's a few other companies, and there's always word of mouth. We also blast out through social media and so on and so forth. And we put the RFQ, RFP, whichever out in these huge databases with thousands of vendors. that can respond or show interest, ask questions, and so on and so
Are
forth.
those databases open to anyone or only registered vendors? Do you
Well,
know?
they have to register with those particular, and actually procurement does a pretty good job of, a few times a year, I think, they put on a workshop or seminar for residents to teach them
That's
how
right.
to do business
Okay.
with the city. So there's ways to do that. And if anybody ever has any questions about that, they can contact procurement and they'll be told exactly how to do it.
Okay.
But
All right, so walk me through it. So we put out a request for a proposal, and at some point, and I'm talking about after the fact, at some point that was closed down.
once you put out the RFP, the cone of silence comes in. So the vendors can't start calling you and say, hey, I'm the best product. Don't worry about these other people.
Right.
So you want to avoid all of that. So that happens once you put the procurement
And
out.
any vendors that have submitted an RFP know that.
Yes, they're told. And it's,
And
it's in the
if they
documents.
go to contact any of the commissioners, what happens?
They're disqualified. They would be
Automatically.
disqualified. Yeah,
Okay, so that may be the reson why people stopped calling me.
yeah,
Okay,
that
all
could
right.
be. And then prior to even the RFQ going out, to Commissioner Joseph's point, we look at subject matter expertise. So for example, if we're going to put something else that deals with public works, we're dealing with engineers, we're dealing with architects, we have consultants to the extent that we need additional information on, just like you go to the subject matter experts. It's not, I don't want to single her out, but it's not Genesis or Anastasia making the sole call on that. The scope of, it's the same thing with me as an attorney. I draft the contracts, I'm the scrivener, but I'm not coming up with the scopes of work on how to build a bridge. I don't know how to build a bridge. I don't know the first thing about it. So you rely on the subject matter expertise to provide you that information. That's the same information that's provided for the RFQs, the RFPs, depending on how they are, because at times you're going to put something out that's more general, expecting those vendors to come back with the specificity that you're looking for. So it really depends on the procurement. But the
Okay.
cone of silence really deals with the inability for the communications between vendors, not just the elected officials, but also, I mean, there's certain individuals they can speak with the procurement staff. There's a process where they can ask questions and so on, and those answers to those questions are actually published to all the bidders so that everybody's on an equal footing.
All right, so from the city manager's point of view, can you please clarify as well? Because I think that it's pretty clear why we would not be involved in those kinds of conversations.
Yeah, if you allow your influence, then we would be choosing vendors that you like. That's not how it works in public purchasing. There's no issues here. I have full confidence in our procurement department. They've won awards for following policies and procedures when including any of our vendors that purchase. What happens is a lot of vendors want to participate, but they don't follow the rules. So they don't have insurance, background checks, all of the, we also require checking their financial, I guess their ability to be able to do the work that they perform. So there's no issues here. There's no problems. In fact, we've saved money and ensured that everything that we're following follows governmental standards. So we haven't gone outside of that process. Over these past many years, you've seen a lot of other cities that have problems with their procurement, or we don't have any of that here.
Okay.
So
All right, I'd like to hear from
Yeah.
Commissioner Lama.
So question now, going to Commissioner Joseph's inquiry, can he, as an elected official, talk to the city manager or talk to, maybe have a meeting with, let's say, the building department, if we're getting some sort of, we have a bid out there for Tony Romas, and inquire about what has been presented, what the conversations have been? Can he do that?
You could make inquiries of staff through the manager, and if the manager decides to have his staff there as well to provide you, you can always make inquiries. You just cannot direct or suggest that they do something because it's kind of hard when you have an elected official come to you and say, hey, I think we should do this. Even though it's not a do this, you feel compelled to do that. So that's where, and it's in your charter, where you can always make inquiries, but you just have to be in the procurement process, you just have to be careful with it because a lot of it, it's not necessarily confidential, but some aspects of it are until you get to a certain point. So it's information that you get, but you're certainly able to get that information from staff and through the city manager.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say in that process of inquiries, we realized that, let's say, some of the vendors that we had been analyzing perhaps are not good, you know? What would happen in that situation? I mean,
Who's we? Wait. I just want a clarification. Who's we?
no, let's say Jerry's meeting with Stan and some other staff.
Let's talk about
and-
how it works now, not about what might be.
No,
I have
because I want to
input
know how much you could ask questions, because you wanted to know, because
You can ask-
you know, I don't want, like, I want the public to understand the process, okay? And I also want to understand that I think that we, as elected officials, we could go walk into the city manager's office and say, I want to have a meeting. Let's talk about this bid process, right? I have some questions. I think we're free to do that,
You
correct?
can do that. And so, for example, back to one of the situations when we were dealing with the docks, where the commissioner wanted to make sure that a certain type of stainless steel bolt was being used. You can certainly do that. You can ask for the scope of work. So an RFP goes out, you can look at the RFP or the RFQ, whatever it is, look at the scope of work and say, you know what, Stan, I think we really need to make sure that they use these kinds of bolts. And that's something
fine.
that can be updated.
Yeah, okay.
As long as the process isn't finished, it's something that you can communicate that all day
Yeah.
long.
Is that what you're looking for?
No, also, we have a problem where the city manager is coming to us to acknowledge and approve funding for something that then goes out for bid. So the vendors already know the amount that's been procured. So then we're asking them to give us their best bid on something that they know has already been procured, you know, an amount that's already been offered to the commission. So in that regard, also, we're paying more than we should be on a lot of things.
I want to let the city manager answer that, please.
Yeah, that's incorrect. It's impossible for us to not have something approved in terms of a budget amount for us to go and bid something out. If you want to leave it completely open-ended, then we could have, for example, holiday lights that cost $10 million. So exactly, it seems laughable, but that's what you're suggesting in the reverse. So we have to have a budget that establishes the amount. Certainly, anyone can look at our budget. It's a public process. It's approved by you. But that is the basis for us bidding. If I'm bidding holiday lights and I don't put some sort of a range in it, some people may bid, some people may not bid, or we could get some outlandish numbers. That's what keeps the process true. And it all gets approved by you from start to finish. To Commissioner Lama's question, yes, we're happy to answer any question that you have. But this has happened in the past where you've brought a vendor, not you specifically, you've brought a vendor to me and said, I want to use this person. What I then do is put them in contact with our procurement director. They have to be part of the process. We don't just use any vendor. We have to put it out to bid, as is our process. And then the best responsible bidder is awarded the contract based on the process, which involves the subject matter experts from the city or outside counsel, plus our legal counsel, and committees that help weigh in and evaluate the process, all of which are documented, recorded, and open to the public to a certain extent.
And if I may, Mayor, also just because I prepare and I review all the RFPs, OFQs for legal sufficiency, providing a budget is really the exception, and I think the most recent one is the holiday lights. You know, we sort of have to meter that in because, as the city manager says, you can get the gambit. You know, you can go the millions and millions versus 10,000. But if we're procuring, let's say, when we did the showers at Sampson Park, we put it out there. We need 3 showers put in. give us your best shot, and then we get that
You,
back
you,
in. and
you
then
did
some-
not put, I'm sorry to interrupt. You did not put an amount, or you
No, we
put a
don't typically
range?
say, for $50,000, what can you do for us? That's not typical. And I think the only example I can think of from recent, and I've been here 3.5 years, is the holiday lights, because there we have a strict budget, and that can really go all over the place. But if you're procuring something or service, repairing what they're doing to the garage now, we need pressure washing and sealing of our garage.
You don't tell them I have $5 million for that.
And they'll come back and they tell us. And then sometimes there's great disparity between vendors, and that makes it easier. But you also have to look at qualifications and so on and so forth.
So I think the question was, do we put an amount when we put a bid out? And you stated that the only exception, or one of the few exceptions, was the holiday lights.
In my memory, I mean, obviously, procurement and management may have other examples, but typically we don't say, please do this for us for this amount or less.
We do have, just a little point of clarification, but we have budgeted that amount. So that's what I was referring to when I
They
said
could
that. So
see
for
it if they want to
example,
go into the budget, yeah.
in the example that the city attorney gave for the showers, they can look at our individual budget line items and see that we've allocated a certain amount of funds to redo the bathrooms at Sampson in that example.
Okay.
Vice Mayor is on the phone. I want to give her an opportunity if she wanted to ask any questions. Vice Mayor? She's still there?
She is.
Jennifer?
Hello?
Yeah, do you have any questions? Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, it's difficult, and I'm following actually as best I can with the subtitles, but it's a delay. Anyway, the cone of silence is, I remember when we opted out, and it was basically us joining everybody else. Like we were behind the times on that, and it serves a purpose. I'm not interested in changing anything. It prevents that. It can't guarantee perfection, but it prevents the shadiness. And we don't want to go back to the Wild West where if you're somebody's friend, you have a better chance of getting a contract. Like, this is meant to put everybody on equal footing, and that's the way it should be, on merit and neutrally. So removing the cone of silence, I think, is a step back. So I'm not in favor of touching it.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Lama, are you in favor, or are you of changing the
No, I like
status
to keep.
quo?
I like to keep the cone of silence. I think that we could still obviously go to the city manager and have a meeting with the city manager to inquire about some of the companies that are bidding. Look at the information. I do recall when we didn't have the cone of silence, we're about to vote for something, and vendors were calling me, and I don't think that's the proper way to go about things. I think, Jerry, that you still have the ability to talk to Stan and to staff. You request a meeting, you could talk to them, and you could give them, your opinion. I think it's like the city attorney stated, it is for us not to be speaking to vendors. We don't want.
I've never taken those calls.
Yeah, because I think the cone of silence was implemented around the time you came in.
Yeah.
And I did, they would call me. They would call me, and I kind of felt uncomfortable, to be
I
honest
think it
with
was
you.
in my second year.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
voted back in.
Yeah. So it makes it an awkward and uncomfortable, moment when these vendors call you and you're about to vote for something, and I would refer them to staff. I'm like, listen, talk to staff, but still, some of these vendors, or you don't want to be rude, but it's uncomfortable.
Well, look, I know we go to conventions sometimes, and we have people from Freebie and these other vendors. They come up to you, and I mean, we've had commissioners present Freebie to us, and I know I was approached by Freebie several times, and you know,
And it's going to
goes
happen. You refer them
for
to
others
staff.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never really let them address me to the point where they think I might, you know, present anything to have them be
Yeah.
above anyone else.
But I get your point. If you say, listen, you know, vendor A has got this product that's faulty, or I don't think it's the proper product, I think you could meet with city staff and ask them, and, you know, have a conversation with them.
And just a caveat, Mayor, because it's the cone of silence is the ordinance is long and it's got a lot of exceptions. So when we say talk to staff, I just want to be careful, and I can forward you the cone of silence.
Yeah.
You
So
say
for
manager.
example, if they're going to be on the selection committee or the evaluation committee, you can't talk to them. There's certain staff you won't be able to talk to. You can always talk to procurement. You can always talk to the manager. If there's somebody else you need to talk to, we need to check to make sure they don't fall within, depending on what the procurement is.
Okay.
So I don't want to think that you can talk to
But
anybody
the point
you want.
is that we could have a conversation with the
always have-
manager and perhaps someone else from procurement or something.
Right. So there's designated folks that,
All right.
that can speak
Understood.
with you about
All
it.
right, let me just
Yeah,
give the
just-
manager the final word so we can move on, because I think.
Mayor, I just wanted to add one more thing. Whenever our purchasing director releases a solicitation to bid, we do a citywide email, and we also copy you on that, so that you're aware of it, and anybody that wants to participate is welcome to.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
just have one other question.
sure.
So in the procurement process, when there's a certain item that's looking to be purchased, is there research done to be sure that the product that we're looking to purchase is the most up-to-date? And, you know, sometimes I know when I've ever gone to buy a laptop, I'm always buying the best on the market that's going to last me, you know, or the chip that's just coming out, so that I have this laptop is going to be useful to me for several years. Where, you know, if you go in and just buy any laptop from BJ's or any other vendor, Best Buy, they could have a model there that's 2 years old, and you would never know it, or a chip that's 2 years old. So I just want to be sure that there's some process with procurement that they're researching. We're not ever ending up with a product that is not the top of the line, and that we're thinking ahead several years as to this product is going to be above and beyond even several years from now.
In dealing with the contracts and with procurement directly every day. To use your example for computers, you know, we have Derek, who's our IT director, who's extremely knowledgeable in that area. So certainly if there's going to be a procurement for purchasing computers, purchasing staff works with, again, the subject matter experts in the city, or if we don't have subject matter experts in the city, we go to a consultant that we have. But certainly, staff isn't just saying, oh, we need a computer, so let's just go to Best Buy and get the best deal. It's just not how it works.
Okay, all right.
But wait, just one more?
One
and then
more,
I'm
and we
finished.
need to move
Okay.
on, because the
So-
discussion
okay.
item is already done.
So we have actually on the agenda today. So I'm just, as an example, and I'm trying to have this not happen again in this city, where we had, when it came to doing a contract regarding the undergrounding in Golden Shores, whoever was around at that time was not forward-thinking enough to think ahead as to what might be the internet product that was going underground at the time in 2026, okay? So, but copper has been obsolete for many years now. And still the contract, how it was written, was that whatever was on the light, on the poles was to go underground, which was a technical error in the contract at that time. And I've been yelling about it for months and months and months, okay? And that's my main point, to be sure that we don't make that mistake again, ever.
But that's not a procurement issue. So There's two things there. One, it's not a procurement issue because that's not something the city's purchasing. So the product that's being put there, that's an undergrounding project where we are undergrounding the existing lines. We don't regulate the Public Services Commission.
It's about forward thinking.
It's not a procurement. We didn't purchase anything. So that has nothing to do with procurement. That's a completely separate issue that you can deal with, with the prior manager potentially, but we don't really control, and we discussed it last meeting, exactly what utilities can go under there because we don't
I'm not looking to get that tentacle regarding the utilities. This is an example
AT&T
as
and all
to,
that is a utility.
the example is for our procurement department to be forward thinking
But procurement has
regarding any
nothing to
product that's
do.
purchased. That's what I would like to
We
see.
didn't purchase that product, so procurement had no involvement in that.
That's
Okay.
That's my point.
All right, let's move on. I just want to say for the record that our procurement department and our staff have done an excellent job. No one is doing anything
I'm not
illegal.
saying they're not.
I'm saying it for the record. Our IT department, I believe that Derek is a graduate of MIT. So
And no
I
one
think
can know
he's-
everything
he-
about everything.
But about computers, I feel confident that he knows. So let's move on to the next item, please.
I made my point.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Commissioners, we're going to go back now to special presentations. 3C, the proclamation presented for Parks and Recreation Month. I'll read the proclamation, and then if the commission can come downstairs to
How many people do we have? A lot?
the whole
So
department.
maybe we'll just stay up here and, okay.
Go ahead, Colin. You want me to read it first, or do you want to do your introduction?
You can read it first because then I'll play the video after.
Okay. So the proclamation reads, whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health for people who live near parks, whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. Whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. Whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, whereas the city wishes to recognize the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources.
Thank you, Mauricio. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. It's July. It's Park and Recreation Month. Each July, we celebrate park and recreation professionals and how they improve the lives of tens of millions of people, making a lasting impact in communities across the country. Park and recreation programs are essential to community health and well-being and help cultivate lifelong friendships, memories, and family bonds that people can hold dear decades later. This year's theme, The Power of, celebrates how Parks and Recreation brings us together through the power of play, nature, belonging, and the people of our community. So if you would humor me for a moment, we have some highlights of our past year of the City of Sunny Isles Beach and Cultural and Community Services Department, activities, programs, and the power of. And that's just a small piece of what we've done for you for the past year. So I'd like to thank my staff that's behind me, and then of all of you for your continued support.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Amazing.
Where do I sign up, man?
If everyone could come up, we'll take a picture from this side. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your hard work.
Can't do those activities. We'll stay up here because otherwise there's too many of them.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, there's not too many of you. You know what I mean. There's just the right amount.
We appreciate your hard work. Thank you. Hey, you want to stand together or?
All right,
Okay.
thank you. And I'm sure that that video could have probably been like an hour long and still would not have been enough. Okay. I understand that one of the other students is here, so I'd like to be able to recognize her. Yaroslav left.
Yes, he left.
Okay.
Amelia, you have her there.
I have Ariana. Sorry. Ariana? You Ariana? Hi.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to come up? Are you alone or are you your mom? Okay. Do you want to come up? We'll take a picture.
Okay.
Congratulations, Ariana. All right. Now we are to PD or not yet?
No, we are going to move that off the agenda.
All right. So now we're on item 4I.
Mayor, if I may, that officer is working midnight shift, so he comes in at 6 o'clock. So we're going to have a little presentation with the commission in the fourth floor conference room at 6.
At 6. Okay, perfect. That
Please
sounds
be there.
great. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so now going back to discussion items, just to note for the record, again, 4H is being deferred. 4I is a discussion regarding the Golden Shores undergrounding project update.
Okay. I believe that's the city manager.
Honorable Mayor, Commission. So at the June meeting, the item for IAM Electric did not move forward. It didn't get a second, so it didn't move forward. For that reason, the project is completely on hold. We can't do anything further, which means power lines will not come down. Within the last couple of weeks, they've had at least 2 outages. May or may not be related. But we need to come to a solution as to if we're going to, we need some direction. Do we want to go with our second bidder, which is twice as much cost hourly, actually a little bit more than twice. Bring back IAM in some way, or defer the Golden Shores undergrounding project for 6 months to a year.
Okay, that sounds like a horrible idea. Deferring that project is a nightmare, especially during hurricane season.
Yes.
I know that specifically Commissioner Joseph and I live in that neighborhood, and I know I personally, I'm sure he did as well, experience the outage in the middle of the summer is probably one of the worst things that could happen when the AC and everything else is off. So I am in support of moving the item forward, but let's hear from the rest of the commission. Commissioner Joseph?
Yes. So is it back on the agenda for this evening?
It is not, because since nothing happened, you have the 3-month deferral. But when we looked at our second bidder, which is our next choice, the hourly rate for IAM is $43 an hour compared to $120 an hour for our second bidder. So I met with the city attorney to see if there was any way possible to bring it forward tonight.
And is it possible?
Yeah, so your option would be to agree to add it on.
Okay.
Do an add-on tonight. And then you would have to, because you can suspend that rule for the 3 months, but you're going to need a supermajority. You're going to need you're going to need a supermajority of those present. So, if, for example, if it was here, I'd need all 3 of you.
Right, but we're not voting right now.
No, exactly. I'm talking tonight.
Tonight.
No,
Okay,
tonight.
so
Yes.
I'm in favor of adding it back on. Commissioner
I'm in
Joseph?
favor as well.
Commissioner Lama?
I'm in favor, yes.
Vice Mayor?
Me too.
Okay, so it sounds like we probably will have our supermajority, so please move it to tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
Now we're to 4J.
Yes, 4J is a discussion regarding the internet service for Golden Shores neighborhood.
Okay, this is, Commissioner Joseph, this is your item?
No, this is the city manager's item, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not my item.
It's on as your item.
Well, at the last meeting, Commissioner Joseph, you requested that we discuss at this meeting what the options were for Golden Shores. So we invited both AT&T and Breezeline
Yes.
to explain that.
Okay.
AT&T unfortunately was not available, but we do have a representative here from Breezeline.
Okay.
If you could please come up and describe what services you're providing to the community.
So
Okay.
I just want to understand. AT&T was offered to be here, and they rejected the offer?
They said they were not available.
Not available.
They did send some information, but it's marketing materials that were
Okay.
not
So AT&T knowing that Breezeline was going to be here,
Yes,
they didn't show up.
that is
I
correct.
just want to make that clear.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Hi, how are you? If you can just give us your name and address for the record, that's our process. You can give the address of the business.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I'm Lars Lofus from Breezeline. I'm the general manager for Florida for Breezeline. We are very proud and very thankful to be able to serve Sunny Isles. And we have invested tremendous amounts of money to we've completed all the underground work in Golden Shores as well as Sunny Isles, multi-phase project. We've actually invested additional funds to create some new technology that's never been deployed in southern Florida in Golden Shores, actually. And it's basically bringing fiber across the street from your home, right?
Okay.
So we actually, today, we are able to offer multi-gig services, 2 gig or more, to many of the areas in Sunny Isles and in Golden Shores. We have gig symmetrical services as well as 2.5 gig services available. So this is very recent. In fact, it's so recent that I brought our board of directors to demonstrate it last week in Golden Shores. A very proud moment for us in Florida as Breezeline, and very proud moment for our company. We're, again, very grateful to be able to serve this area.
Thank you. Okay. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Joseph?
Well, I'd just like to say that I have, in Golden Shores, I've been through AT&T, I've been through AT&T Satellite, I've been through Breeze Line. I've had frustration with both services. And I actually was going to cancel my Breeze Line service the other day, and I took in T-Mobile Wi-Fi out of frustration because I had no dependable Wi-Fi at my house, which if you were to check my Breeze Line account, there's numerous months and months and months of calling with terrible service. Actually, I was put on the pilot program, which not out of my asking. I just happened to see on Saturday there was a service rep going door to door in Golden Shores, and he was across the street at my neighbor Sheila's house, who wasn't home. And I spoke with him, and he said he was going around to hopefully to connect a new type of a hybrid service that they had to homes that did not have Breeze Line currently. So I said, well, that's funny because I just took in T-Mobile Wi-Fi out of frustration, and I was calling on Monday to cancel my Breeze Line. And they said, oh, don't do that, but as a new customer, we can connect you to our hybrid service. I said, well, not to do anything for me specially, but if you're willing to try, and I'm, willing to be out of frustration to have any better service than I have now, if you're willing to connect me, I'm going to say exactly what I noticed and recognized as to the difference in my service. And they connected me yesterday, and I have to say, out in the street, which is not what I have in my house, but I saw that out in the street there was 2.5 gigs of service. In my house, I had 560 because I have copper from the street to my house and inside my house.
Yeah, we did look at that, Commissioner Joseph.
Yes.
And you have Eero Wi-Fi in your house, and we deliver the gig symmetrical to your
Yes.
modem, and it's
Correct.
just Wi-Fi by nature, whether it's AT&T or us or anybody else.
Yes.
It does degrade signal, but we absolutely wanted to provide you with the absolute best service.
So now I'm looking to somehow bring fiber from inside my house to outside if that's possible. So is that
And
possible?
we have fiber right outside your house, and that's how we deliver the service.
Right, but to bring the fiber into my house to my terminal,
The last
is
few
that
feet
possible?
are copper. Yeah.
No, but to replace the copper with fiber, is that possible for people?
Is it possible? It is possible. I don't think it's necessary because we provide a service that is absolutely as good as fiber. And fiber to the home, I should say.
Well, I would
We
certainly,
have fiber right outside your home.
if there's something I could do to have 2.6 gigs inside my house,
Again, you would need the equipment to do so, and we can deliver 2.5 gig inside your house. Right?
So that is
it's
possible.
dependent on your Wi-Fi. It's dependent on your devices and how fast. For iPhones, for instance, 400 megabits per second. They don't pass 2.5 gig. So it just matter. We will absolutely maximize what you need to
right,
do your business.
okay. But if I were to bring fiber to the street from my house, have a contractor bring fiber from my garage to the street, that would give me a higher amount of gigs or no?
Not necessarily.
So that's not worth the effort?
No. We stand by our service. We have multi-gig services throughout Sunny Isles. You get gig symmetrical or 2.5 gig to your home. We can deliver that now. We're very confident in that, and we appreciate the ability to deliver that now, having invested so much money to serve this area.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. Commissioner Lama, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Question for you. So how does it work with the high-rise buildings? I live in the Winston Towers. I don't know if you're familiar, 174th Street. You have 7 towers there. How does it work? Is it the same setup where you have fiber and then copper going into the actual structure?
It depends, right? It absolutely depends. I can't speak to that building. You want to speak to that building? Okay. This is Danny Ortiz. He's our Director of Field Operations.
Hi, Danny.
So, hi, pleasure meeting you. Windsor Tower is a little bit different. Windsor Tower is considered a bulk account, which means the actual building, the actual HOA, does a contract with the company to provide a specific service, okay, just for that building in particular. If I'm not mistaken, Windsor Tower is actually a PON network,
A what network?
a GPON network,
Okay,
which means that it is FTTU, fiber to the unit.
fiber to the unit. Okay.
But to answer Commissioner Joseph's question, we can provide the same speed that we do in his network versus what we do in your network. What's going to make the difference is what you own in your home that allows you to reach that
Yes.
speed. For example, the Aero system that you have is a Wi-Fi 5 system, which can only go to a specific amount
I see.
through the
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
So I can upgrade that system. I can,
Yes, but if you would grab a computer and connect your computer straight to the modem, you would be able to get the speeds that we're
right.
Okay.
It all depends on the system that you
Vice Mayor, do you have any questions?
No, but please speak into the mic. They can't hear you
Oh,
in the back.
sorry.
Thank you.
Just a little, yeah, thank you. Vice
Now,
Mayor
you
Viscar,
also
wait,
offer
wait, 1
extenders,
second.
correct?
She stepped away.
Oh, okay, all right.
You offer your own extenders as well?
We do.
Yeah, and by the way, we're very proud to also carry this channel on our TV service. We had some pings like, hey, good luck tonight.
All right.
Actually, the city does not have the correct channel indicated. If you could just let them know what channel that is, so they can have it on their website.
Gotcha.
Because they
Absolutely.
currently they have the wrong channel.
All right, so this was a nice little commercial
Susan,
for
we do,
Breezeline.
correct?
So, all right.
Honestly,
Susan,
we've
we have the wrong
invested to
channel.
get this
No,
a great
uh,
place. This is a beautiful city, by the way.
Thank
I mean,
you.
I'm, come from many other states, and I've been with Breezeline for 8 months as the general manager. I can tell you we have an amazing team. I love working here, and we're going to continue to get better and better and better every day.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come. Thank you. Okay,
I would just like to say one more.
one more thing. Jim.
Yes, I have been for over 2 years trying to get the best service in Golden Shores for internet. And 2 years ago, myself and Senator Pizzo contacted AT&T when we noticed that on their website, they had clearly stated that copper was obsolete for internet service. We contacted them, and they promised us that they would be bringing fiber into Golden Shores, and to this date, they still have not. And I believe their not being here today is an indication that they're not looking to move forward in the best interests of Golden Shores residents.
Okay. Just want to clarify that's the not the opinion of the city. It's one commissioner, so I want to be careful that we're not
Well,
saying anything about someone that's not here.
okay,
So, all right.
But I know firsthand what they had
I get
promised.
it, and thank you for bringing this item.
Thank you.
All right. So, with no other items, we're adjourning until 6:30. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.